Hello everyone. As a continuation to the previous exercise where we discussed data tables, how do you create two-way data tables and how do you incorporate conditional formatting to give them a differential color impact. Now I am going to incorporate buttons which will add to the appeal of what if analysis that we just did. What I'm talking about is the one given in sample, wherein you can change the inputs by just using these buttons. The impact change, apart from that, also the quantity, along with that, also the button in terms of variable cost percentage change. Now we will try to create these buttons and incorporate that in our data tables analysis. Now to do that, you must require the developer tab. To activate the developer tab, you must go to Office button. If you're using 2007 version of Excel, in a moment's time, I'll also talk about how do you activate in 2010 version of Excel. But for now, let's go to Office button of 2007, within which go to Excel options. Now within Excel options, reach out to popular and you'll notice there's the third option which says show developer tab in the ribbon. Now you must activate that so that it appears on your ribbon, developer tab, and you'll make use of this developer tab to work on macros later point in time, and for now how to create the buttons. And for those who are using Excel version 2010, they might want to take reference from the last sheet which tells me how to activate developer tab in 2010 version of Excel. So file, options, customize ribbon. Once I reach out to customize ribbon, I will reach out to the second of the two boxes wherein the developer tab can be activated. So now let me go to sheet 2. Alright, now why do we require these buttons? Quite often we would want that input cells should be easy to change just using these buttons. So to make that, let me go to developer. Let me go to insert, and I'll be focusing on these form controls part, the first of the two available blocks, because this is more concerned with the coding. So amongst these form controls, I'll be focusing initially on the fourth button from the top row. Once I click on that icon, I can have a power to draw the button. So I can create a button something like this. As of now, this button is lifeless. I must infuse life in it. I must tell this button how and which cell you must control. So let me right click on the button. Let me reach out to the option saying format control. Now if I look closely, it has got various options, and amongst them all, the most important option which says cell link, which means which cell it must control. And the way it can control that I will specify in these boxes. So let's say current value of any product could be, let's say 20. The minimum is 0. I cannot sell in a negative price. Maximum, the price that can be accommodated, let's say 55. And incremental change, that means when I click on the top of part of the button, by what increment it should change. Let's say for example, I'm picking up an odd number. It's a 5. Okay. Now to activate the button, let me click outside once, and now if I click and use, you'll notice the numbers changing in the cell which it was supposed to control initially. Now this could be an input cell for the other financial model parts. If you want to delete this button, right click and cut. That's all. I will also show you how to create the second type of button. So let me go to insert. The second type of button, which is officially called scroll bar. If I click on that, let's say I make one horizontally. You can also make one vertically. Let me just change this to a horizontal one. Now again, just like the last time, it is lifeless right now. So let me infuse life in it by right clicking on that, saying format control. Almost same set of options available. So cell link, let's say it must control this particular cell. Alright, so current value, let's say 100. Minimum is 0, maximum, let me take it as 1000. Incremental change, let me keep this time 20. Now you would ask, what is page change? I will help you in understanding what is page change, but for now, let's remember it's 10. Okay. To activate this button, let me click outside. So if I click on the edge of the button, it changes by a value of 20, which is what the incremental change talked about. But if you click on any middle part of the scroll bar, you will notice it changes by 10. And this is what the page change was referring to. So this is very crucial in adding the jazz to your financial model, and I will show you how does it happen in sheet 01. So I go to insert, I go to the second row and pick up the scroll bar. So let me create a scroll bar, pretty long one, on top of the values which represents variable cost. So let me infuse life in it. Format control. Now once I do that, I must specify which cell it should control. So cell link, I'm just choosing the first cell, that's the one. Minimum 0, maximum 100, and let me take the incremental as 5 and the current value being 10. So that's the default value that gets activated as soon as I press OK. Let me click outside, which I have. Now take the help of this button. As soon as you clicked once, the value jumped from 10 to 15, and the moment this variable cost became 15%, the values changed beneath it. The impact on profit changed. As you can see, more the variable cost percentage, more losses that I'm suffering. Similarly, I can also create an vertical scroll bar. So insert, vertical scroll bar. I've drawn one. Right click, format control. Let me infuse life in it by telling which cell it must control. So I'm choosing the first one, that's 2000. So minimum 0, maximum, let's say 30,000. That's the maximum possible value within the maximum value box. Incremental, let me keep it, let's say 500. Current value that I can see right now, the default one, 2000. Okay. So if I click outside the button, scroll bar, now notice higher the sales, more profits as are appearing in green and red. So there you go. These are the applications of the scroll bar and the spin button. To take help of that and try to incorporate that in the model, financial model. So we'll talk about more techniques in the next level, level 3. Till then, keep practicing.